Your father's corpse isn't even cold, and you think you can just waltz into my lake community? That's the very first thing Cordelia Blackthorne said to me. Right there in my kitchen, standing like some mafia queen, two bulky guys with barely hidden Glocks posted at her sides, three sheriff's deputies outside like backup dancers waiting to arrest me for trespassing on my own damn property. The whole place reeked of her cheap perfume mixed with diesel from the moving truck. Suffocating, really. And I'll tell you, my military instincts were firing off like crazy, warning me this wasn't just a bad welcome home. Overhead, I could hear a Coast Guard chopper circling. Yeah, she'd called them, too. Claimed I was running some human trafficking operation out of my dead father's dock. It's funny, the way life throws you into the deep end when you least expect it. 72 hours later, FBI agents would be the ones kicking Cordelia's door down at 3 in the morning, but right then, I was still just a guy trying to figure out how inheriting a house from a man I hadn't spoken to in a decade could turn into a scene straight out of a crime thriller. She kept talking, each word more poisonous than the last. Sign the property over to the HOA, or I'll make sure you join your daddy in the ground, she said, like it was the most normal thing in the world, like we were just discussing the weather. What Cordelia didn't know, what nobody knew, was that every word she spat was being recorded by surveillance my father installed 3 years ago. The little blinking red light in the corner of the ceiling, streaming straight to a federal server. She also didn't know my father owned 51% of her precious HOA, or that those shipments she ran through my dock weren't drugs. They were people, living, breathing people, treated like cargo. I'm Jasper Whitlock, Marine vet, 35, and I'd been in that house less than 40 minutes before Cordelia set her sights on me. If you're wondering how things went from zero to a federal standoff in under an hour, well, buckle up, because this is where it gets nuts. It started on a Tuesday. I'm standing outside a house I'd never seen, breathing in diesel, pine, and lake water. My dad had been dead 6 weeks. We hadn't talked in 10 years, not since I said some things at Mom's funeral I couldn't take back. He honored my wish, disappeared completely. Then, out of nowhere, his lawyer calls. You've inherited everything, including something your father died protecting. I should have asked questions, but honestly, I was too stunned the old man left me anything at all. The place was frozen in time, dust everywhere, except for some fresh boot prints leading straight to the basement. Size 11, military tread. Somebody'd been here before me, and they knew Dad was dead before anyone else did. No sooner had I carried in the only box I cared about, photos of Mom, than the invasion began. 3 vehicles, too fast for a residential street, gravel flying. The leader, a white Escalade with HOA vanity plates. Out steps Cordelia, 57, pearls and a pink blazer, flanked by 2 goons who looked like they could snap a man in half. She doesn't even glance at the paperwork I shove in her face. Deed, will, death certificate. Fraudulent, she says. You have 5 minutes to leave before I call the police. The absurdity of it all almost made me laugh, but something in her eyes, like she really believed she could throw me out, shut me up fast. She called the cops. Armed intruder, military trained, threatened to kill me. Her words. None of it true. Didn't matter. SWAT rolled in like it was a drug bust. Deputy Morrison, young and twitchy, kept his gun trained on me even as I calmly showed him my documents. Cordelia ran the show, barking orders like she was the sheriff herself. The other officers tore through my house, flipping boxes, searching for God knows what. That's when they found the lockbox in the basement. Cordelia's face went pale. Probable drug money, she snapped. Morrison hesitated, but she leaned in and reminded him who paid his sister's hospital bills. He crumbled, did as he was told. This whole town, every cop, fire chief, even the damn judge, Cordelia owned them all. They booked me on everything they could dream up, trespassing, breaking, and entering. Then terrorism. Felt like they were throwing spaghetti at a wall. I used my one phone call on the only person I trusted, Rebecca Stone, JAG Corps, retired, the best lawyer I've ever known. She ripped through their so-called probable cause and got me out in 4 hours. But by then, Cordelia had ransacked my house, looking for something she never found. My father's basement. It wasn't a man cave, it was a command center. 3 monitors showing camera feeds around the property. Evidence boards, strings, photos. It looked like something out of Homeland. In the middle, a leather-bound journal, last entry just weeks before he died. Cordelia running human trafficking. 50 grand per boat, twice a week. Over 500 victims. ICE Agent Rivera is my handler. Evidence in box 7891. If I die, it's murder. Jasper, finish this. I read that and just broke. I'd hated my father for years, thought he'd abandoned me. But the truth was he was fighting a different war, risking everything, even letting Cordelia poison him slowly just to get the evidence. Video files showed him, skeletal, sick, but determined, explaining everything. He apologized for not being the dad I needed, but asked me to finish his mission. We don't get to choose our battles, son. They choose us. That's when the phone rang. I see Agent Rivera. Your father told me you'd answer. We've been watching. Cordelia's getting desperate, but she doesn't know how much evidence he had. The lockbox they took. Decoy. There are 17 more hidden on the property. We need a full confession. Can you get her to slip up? All I could say was, Semper Fi. A knock at the door. Elizabeth Wong, my neighbor, hands me a casserole with a note hidden inside. Your father saved my daughter. I'll save his son. Trust no one else. That night, I snuck to her house. Her back room looked like a victim's memorial. Photos of people Cordelia's crew had made disappear, missing persons reports, news clippings. 3 years ago, Elizabeth's daughter witnessed the boats unloading children. Cordelia threatened to kill her whole family if she talked, but Dad bought the HOA, kept them safe. Now he was gone, and it was my turn. By midnight, Cordelia's people were circling my house. Her sons, cartel muscle, staying just off my property, waiting. That night, I saw it firsthand. Boats landing on the HOA's communal shoreline, dozens of people, children, herded into vans. I recorded everything. Deputy Morrison found me in the dark, torn between helping and protecting his sick sister. He finally admitted Cordelia was planning to have me declared insane at the HOA meeting the next night. Commitment papers, a friendly judge, a staged suicide. She'd done it before. I spent the night copying every file, sending them to my lawyer, newsrooms, federal agents. If anything happened to me, Cordelia's empire would burn. At dawn, I stood on the dock, knowing my father had lit the fuse. All I had to do was survive the explosion. The morning of the HOA meeting, I retrieved the real evidence from the bank, a mountain of photos, bank records, a USB drive labeled insurance. Videos of Cordelia meeting with cartel members, poisoning my father, laughing about problems she'd solved. Rivera called, feds everywhere, waiting for my signal. The meeting was a circus. Cordelia dressed for a funeral, her muscle in the crowd, cartel, goons everywhere. She tried to declare me insane, waving fake psych reports. I called her bluff, played the audio of her threats for everyone. She tried to say it was fake, but I pulled out the journal, the evidence, the incorporation documents showing I owned the HOA now. Her world crumbled. Her sons tried to run. The feds tackled them, DEA and FBI badges everywhere. And then Cordelia lost it, screamed about how my father deserved to die, boasted about her millions, said the people she trafficked didn't matter. That was it. Agent Rivera walked in, badge out, and in minutes, Cordelia, her sons, her cronies, all of them were cuffed and headed to federal lockup. The aftermath was chaos, news vans, residents reeling, Elizabeth Wong finding me on the dock at 2 a.m. She told me my father would be proud. I found boxes of old letters and clippings. He'd followed my career, cheered every medal, every step I took to do the right thing. In the end, we'd fought the same war without knowing it. Cordelia went down hard. Life sentences, death penalty for her. Her sons never seeing daylight again. The millions she stole went to the victims. The HOA was dissolved. The lake renamed for my father. Survivors started new lives. One little girl, Maria, painted a mural of my dad as a guardian angel on her family's restaurant downtown. Rebecca moved up. We got married on the same dock Cordelia once threatened to kill me on. My father's evidence took down trafficking networks in 7 states. New laws passed, requiring HOA transparency nationwide. The Harrison-Whitlock Act. Funny, the things that endure. These days, I run a security firm out of that same basement, the old command center now a place for healing. We fostered a boy named Miguel. Every morning, I have coffee on the dock and feel my father's presence in the sunrise. The last entry in his journal? Jasper will come. He will finish this. The trap is set. I go to your mother now. My duty done. Take care of each other. Semper Fi, Dad. Cordelia died in prison, alone and forgotten. But my father is remembered by everyone he saved. His legacy lives in a community that rose from ashes. I never got to say I loved him, but I think, in the end, he knew. And now, sometimes, when Miguel calls out Dad and runs to the dock, I realize victory isn't headlines or handcuffs. It's a child who feels safe enough to just live. That's what justice looks like. And if you've ever misjudged someone or wondered what you'd do if evil came to your door, well, maybe my story will make you think twice. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was justice served? Did I do the right thing? What would you have done in my place? Because in the end, the greatest battles aren't won with fists or guns. They're won when good people refuse to let evil have the last word.